What's something people don't know about the US Constitution? It's a document that many of us have heard about, studied in school, and perhaps even taken for granted. But what lies beneath its surface? What stories and struggles are embedded in its creation? It was born out of intense debates and crucial compromises. The framers of the Constitution didn't just sit down and write it in a day. They argued, they debated, and they fought for their visions of what the new nation should be. In 1787, the Constitutional Convention convened to address the glaring weaknesses of the Articles of Confederation. The Articles had been the first governing document of the United States, but they were far from perfect. The nation was young, and its leaders quickly realized that the Articles were insufficient for a growing country. A nation struggling with no power to tax, no judiciary, no executive branch. The government under the Articles was weak and ineffective, unable to enforce laws or collect taxes. This led to widespread discontent and economic turmoil. This chaos set the stage for some of the most pivotal compromises in American history. The delegates knew that they had to create a stronger, more effective government, but they also had to balance the interests of different states and regions. First up, the Great Compromise. This was one of the most significant agreements reached during the convention. It addressed the issue of representation in the new government. Large states wanted representation by population. Small states demanded equal representation. The larger states, with their bigger populations, felt that they should have more influence in the government. The smaller states, however, feared that they would be overshadowed and their interests ignored. The solution? A bicameral legislature, House of Representatives by population, Senate with equal representation. This compromise created a two-house Congress balancing the needs of both large and small states. A masterstroke of balance. It ensured that both populous and less populous states had a voice in the new government, laying the groundwork for a more unified nation. Then the contentious 3/5 compromise. This was one of the most controversial agreements reached during the convention, dealing with the issue of how enslaved individuals would be counted for representation and taxation. Southern states wanted enslaved individuals fully counted for representation. They argued that their large enslaved populations should be included in the population counts that determined representation in Congress. The northern states said no way. They felt that counting enslaved individuals who had no rights or freedoms would unfairly increase the political power of the southern states. The compromise? Counting each enslaved person as 3/5 of a person. This agreement was a deeply flawed and morally troubling solution, reflecting the deep divisions and injustices of the time. A deeply flawed agreement that left a dark legacy. The 3/5 compromise was a stark reminder of the compromises made at the expense of human dignity and equality. And let's not forget the Commerce Compromise. This agreement addressed the regulation of trade, another contentious issue that divided the northern and southern states. Northern states wanted federal control over trade. Southern states feared economic damage. The northern states, with their growing industries, wanted a strong central government to regulate trade and protect their economic interests. The southern states, reliant on agriculture and exports, feared that federal control would harm their economies. The outcome? Congress could regulate trade but no export taxes. This compromise allowed the federal government to regulate interstate and international trade while protecting the economic interests of the southern states by prohibiting export taxes. A careful dance to align regional interests. The Commerce Compromise was another example of the delicate balancing act required to create a unified nation. Finally, the battle of ratification, Federalists versus Anti-Federalists. Once the Constitution was drafted, it had to be ratified by the states, leading to intense debates between those who supported the new Constitution and those who opposed it. Federalists, like Hamilton and Madison, argued for a strong central government. They believed that a powerful national government was necessary to maintain order and stability, and to protect the rights and interests of the people. Anti-Federalists, like Patrick Henry, feared for individual rights. They worried that a strong central government would become tyrannical and infringe on the freedoms and rights of individuals and states. The resolution, the promise of a Bill of Rights. To address the concerns of the Anti-Federalists and ensure the protection of individual liberties, the Federalists promised to add a Bill of Rights to the Constitution. A win for liberty. The addition of the Bill of Rights was a crucial step in securing the ratification of the Constitution and protecting the fundamental rights of American citizens. These debates and compromises weren't just political chess moves. They were the foundation of a new nation built on the principles of democracy, liberty, and justice. They were the foundation of a nation still resonating today. The Constitution, with its carefully crafted compromises and protections, continues to be a living document that guides and shapes the United States. The U.S. Constitution, a document born out of conflict, shaped by compromise. It stands as a testament to the vision, determination, and resilience of the framers who crafted it. And that's how history is made. The story of the US Constitution is a story of struggle, debate, and ultimately triumph. It reminds us that democracy is not easy, but it is worth fighting for.